All right, baseball season is pretty much finally upon us. We're just a couple weeks out here. LSU back in 2024, not defending their national championship, as they will tell you. They're attacking the next championship this season. The squad today actually ranked number 2 by a preseason poll. So all the expectations, all the hype, all the talent that we see and surrounds this team, validated by the fact that they're a top 2 team in college baseball entering the season. And it's been really fun the past couple weeks back in the fall to watch this team play in the scrimmages, in practice, see them speak at the first pitch banquet recently, and just be in a great mindset, it seems like, because you see it all the time. A team wins a national championship, the next year they're not as good, whether that be because players leaving, coaches leaving, your roster getting poached, or people maybe just getting complacent, like, hey, we're the national championship team, we're the reigning champs, they got to come through us to win, and using that in a bad way, as if to say, we're getting complacent, we won the championship last year, we're automatically winning it next year. But I don't seem to get that vibe from this team, and when you can match that with the fact that you've got on paper the talent, the coaching staff, everything you need to repeat as national champions, pretty dangerous scenario, and I think that's what we got right now with this LSU baseball squad. So this past weekend, I went to all of the scrimmages, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, caught a little bit of practice on Friday as well. There were a decent amount of fans there too. It was not the best weather weekend. It was like 40s. I was in a short sleeve polo, which was a brutal mistake on my part. Rainy. They got rained out on Friday. It was dripping a little bit on Saturday, and it just wasn't pretty. But you know what? You're going to come out still and watch a great baseball team play, even if it's just an inter-squad scrimmage. So some of the takeaways for me from those 3 days: pitching. Saw a lot of different guys in there. The guy that stuck out to me the most was Gage Jump. I didn't get a chance to see Thatcher Hurd pitch. May have gotten there just a little bit late one of those days, and that might be why. But I did see him pitch in the fall. He was great. But right now, I think Gage Jump is the best pitcher on this team that I've seen. I haven't seen much of Hurd since the fall, so I can't go out there and say that he's the best. The guys that I've seen, Gage Jump is the best. I mean, he's hurling fastballs at these batters, and they can't handle it. The fast stuff, the slow stuff. He's in command, too. Rarely will he get behind in a count. If he does, he'll battle his way right back in and get that batter out. I've only seen Gage Jump throw strikeouts when I've seen him pitch between the fall and when he went for a little bit on Friday. And he's striking out some of the best batters on this team as well, I might add. So they got him from the transfer portal. From what I understand, he had Tommy John surgery. And the coaches said, and some of the players said, if he didn't have that injury, they wouldn't have gotten him because he's so good and so talented. He wouldn't be in a position for LSU to go get him to add to the roster. But they kind of took a chance on him, went and got him. He's come back from that injury and been stellar. It's as if he wasn't even hurt. So he's going to be one of the stars in the pitching room this season, I think. As far as the infield goes, it's a little bit of a new look. You got Jared Jones at first base, but I also saw him catch a little bit on Saturday, so he could probably still play both if you need to shuffle the lineup, whatever it might be. Josh Pearson moving from the outfield to second base. There's been a little bit of, obvious breaking in, so to speak, that needs to be done at that position. It's hard to go from the outfield to second base. He even said it himself. He's using a different glove, learning the fundamentals, because in high school, you're kind of just out there and you're playing. But now in college, you're being a tactician. You're learning the position, the ins and outs of it. So there were a couple times on double play opportunities where he was maybe a step late, and there was communication problems between him and Michael Braswell, the new shortstop. We'll get into that. But other times, he's running to a fly ball, calling off one of his teammates, and catching it himself. Not to mention, he's been great in the batter's box. He had a couple of hits, an RBI, a ground rule double with just a rocket shot down the right field line. So he's going to be a two-way threat, and as long as he can continue to develop as a second baseman, he'll be great for this team. Moving along, new shortstop, it's Michael Braswell, the third transfer from South Carolina. I'm excited about him. He seems to have this edge about him in the batter's box. When things happen, he's like, all right, this is my opportunity to make a play. Like, I can just get that sense from him. And in the outfield, he's already fitting in with his teammates, it seems. He's got a good rapport with Pearson. I see those two communicating well, and before every inning, they're, dapping each other up like, let's go, let's do this thing, right? He had a couple of ground balls go his way, rifling to first base. No problems at all. And he had a really nice double down the left field line yesterday when he was batting as well. So he kind of said, joking about himself, that his batting average and his batting prowess wasn't that great, so he didn't think that LSU would even call him or be interested in him in the transfer portal from South Carolina. But he hit 255, and I wanted to see, does he have that offense? Because he seems to not think so, but his actions speak otherwise over his words, I would say. So he's looking great there. He should be that shortstop for you. And then Tommy White, he's not new. He's back at third base. But what is new is one of his shoulders. I think it's this one. He had off-season shoulder surgery, didn't play in the fall. And that's tough to come back from. You got to keep your body in shape. You don't get any opportunities to get, swings in, reps in the fall because you need your shoulder to play baseball. It's pretty obvious. So he's back. I see him wearing a sling every now and then when he's on deck in the hole, waiting to hit. I'm not sure if that's just a protective thing. He wasn't throwing cross diamond in practice either. He was fielding the ground balls and kind of just going through the motions. So probably just saving his arm a little bit. But he hasn't lost any of his power. He smacked a couple hits to left field that were caught, didn't leave the park. But then he also had one to center that was a double off the wall. I thought it was gone. And he had a couple singles, punched in some runs there. He's also doing a lot better taking balls. Like, he walked a lot, not just from getting hit with pitches. He did get hit with a couple pitches, but narrowing his strike zone and letting a couple go that look like strikes from where I'm standing, but they're not. So he's doing a great job of not needing to press and swing at every hittable pitch. He's understanding when he can just sit there and take one. So seems like he's back in full form. He said his shoulder popped out 20 times last year and in the dog pile after the national championship. So he led the SEC in RBIs last year, was one of the best hitters in college baseball, and he wasn't fully healthy. What can he do this year fully healthy? I can't wait to see that. Those are some of my big takeaways. Hayden Travinski had a couple of really nice hits. He had a home run yesterday, so he's looking great. Also was signing autographs for the kids, so just seems like an all-around great representative of the program. So those are some of the big takeaways. Maybe a name to watch, Mick Paul. He's had opportunities to knock in runs. Wasn't a big part of the team last year, but he's knocked in those runs. He's taken advantage of those opportunities. So he might be a guy to watch as an underrated player to take a step this season. And then Jake Brown, the freshman who has a lot of people watching him, following him, interested in him. Up and downs, he'll strike out one time, but then the next time he'll rocket a single to center field and knock in a couple of runs. So he's going through his ups and downs, as freshmen typically do. So that's kind of just me blurting out everything that I've kind of noticed the past 3 days with this LSU baseball team. I like the mentality that the players have, that the coaching staff has, that Jay Johnson is instilling in his guys. A lot of the players on the team this year were members of last year's national championship team. But they seem to understand that the target is now on their back, but they can't think of it that way. They got to put the target back on the other team's back, treat every game like a playoff game, and go and attack that next championship, not defend the last one. You got to feel good about where the team is right now. They got great talent, they're locked in, and they have the right mentality heading into the season. Hopefully that can continue, but you can only be where your feet are and where you're standing. And right now, where I'm standing, this team is doing the right things. They're locked in. Now they got to go and take care of business in a couple weeks in the season opener against VMI. But let me know how excited you are for the baseball season. How can you not be excited? And be sure to like and subscribe.